to Saturday Morning Momentum, where we're going to try to get something done on our goals, our aims, our projects. And I am being joined today by the lovely Jen at Literary Love 123 and the lovely Lee at Dark Roots Creations. I will let them introduce themselves and what their channel is about in a moment. But I want to thank everyone for being here this morning. I know it's early for some of you. And I also want to say thanks to anyone who happens to watch this on replay after the fact. Let us know what you got up to during the time if you use the Power Hour. I'm always curious to see what people are up to and if they were able to accomplish something or if they're having any stumbling blocks. I mean, we all learn from whatever anybody is getting up to when it comes to organization and time management. So Jen, introduce yourself and just say a little bit about what your channel is about before we jump in.
Hello, I'm Jen. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, and Threads at Literary Love 123. And I like to combine my master's in English with my passion for the horror genre to talk about the books that I read. I also have courses on OutSchool for middle and high school students in literature, mythology, folklore, and poetry. And I just launched, it'll be starting in August, so you have time, a YA horror book club. So you can find me on OutSchool at Jennifer Smith.
Yay. And Lee, introduce yourself because you're new. You're not new, but you're new to being online with me, which is very exciting.
Thank you. My name's Lee. My channel is Dark Roots Creations, which is mostly a book channel. I do read all genres, but my favorites lately are thriller and now contemporary romance. Yay. Sometimes I'm just getting back into some vlogs. People tend to enjoy my road rage in the vlogs. So what I'm currently working on does have some of that if you like that.
Yes.
You would never think that Lee would have road rage. She's so like calm and mild. I've seen her on sprints with Stormy. So yeah. So I have to confess that I woke up this morning and worked a little bit on my intention. I did post in the stumbling blocks my pictures of my progress. So I did not do what I needed to do. But at least I started, and I'm going to give myself some grace, as everyone has told me prior to coming on here, that at least I got the books out of my office and they're sitting on the bookshelf. Not exactly the way I want them to be, because part of the issue is I need to get my other YA books on there because my personality, I want them to be in alphabetical order. How about you, Jen? How did your week go?
I accomplished one goal, but not the other one. The one goal that I did accomplish, I just mentioned, getting the YA horror book club up to go for all of next school year. But I am struggling in a serious way with designing a website for a new business venture. I am expanding my classes for adults, and I'm trying to get a website where you can see the offerings I have and enroll. And it's not exactly in my budget to pay someone a lot to design a website. So I'm trying to do it myself with tutorials, but I'm going to take a look at Fiverr. Is that how you say it?
Fiverr, yeah.
And see if I can find a reasonably priced person to help me design a website. I have Wix, I have the domain name, I have everything but the website ready to publish. So
well, and I do know, Jen, that Liz posted Etsy might be another place that you might be able to find a creator.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not a creator, a person to help you with the website, like a coder or whatever.
That would be great, because I feel like a total, at a total loss. And I'm type A and perfectionist, recovering, but like I said in Discord, my recovering part, it tries to keep recovering. So
yeah, and if anybody out there knows of any other choices besides Fiverr or Etsy, put in the Discord to help Jen out. It's under stumbling blocks, under the Saturday Morning Momentum area. That would be helpful for her, because I know how frustrating it can be when you can't figure something out because you have no experience in it. So it's like, you're doing everything that you need to do. And the crazy thing is whenever you're trying something new for the first time and they're like, it's really easy in 5 steps, you can accomplish whatever. Okay, yeah, right.
No, I've been stuck on like steps 1 and 2 for weeks.
How about you, Lee? Did you get your intentions done this week?
Yes, about 10 minutes before we came on here, I was finishing it up and getting them done. So I waited till the last minute to get my last 3 parts of my Bible study boot camp done. But I did. I was listening to videos on 1.75 just so I could get through the information. But yes, I just finished.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great. I mean, even if, like Liz admitted that happened last week for her with her photo, project. I mean, I think that does help. It gives you a little bit of adrenaline. And then at least if you get started, you can finish into the following week. I mean, like, we have to give everybody grace. Liz is not here today because she had to host a writing retreat for another faculty member. It came up unexpectedly. So she might be in the chat if possible, but I think she needs to be on the writing retreat. So she's unable. She was saying, maybe if I could go somewhere quiet or find a closet or something, I might be able to come on. She was like, so I sent her the link and I'm like, you do whatever you need to do. I totally understand. We knew going in that she might not make it every week, and that's okay. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we can only do what we can do, right?
Yep.
So let's see who is here with us. We have Swank. Howdy, everyone. Happy World Water Day and happy International Goof Off Day. Well, we're not goofing off here today. I'm going to tell you right now.
Don't tempt
While I'm
me.
going through the chat, I'm going to put this up here of what our intentions are for Power Hour. If anybody wants to weigh in the comments, and I'll touch base with our ladies. Good morning, Sabrina. I hope everyone's having a great morning. We have good mornings from Vanessa, Angelical, and Stormy. Yes, Lee is a nice surprise. And hello, Esther Jane. Yes. Good morning, Cameron. What you up to, my friend? And Livia's here saying highs. Hi from Livia to everyone. Hello, Jen of Pages and Chaos. Good morning to you. I hope you're feeling better. Good morning, Crystal. And Livia said, I'm trying to organize my bookshelves too, but it's hard when you want them organized in genre and alphabetical order. And when your books don't match. I am so upset that I have one Mary Higgins Clark book that's bigger than all the rest. So I couldn't lay it down. It was like, because I want them to be in order of chronological order. Maybe I could get over that. I don't know. I might have to not be in chronological order as far as when it was published. That bugs me. But Livia says, I think this would be more of an interweek goal. I'm not sure what she was trying to say. Jamie said, good morning. Hello, Jamie. And for this hour would be best if I concentrate on my diamond paintings. I love that. You can craft. Not sure what I'm going to work on today. I have some schoolwork to finish, but I also need to record. So I might work on that because I'm so behind. I understand that, Jen. I spent yesterday on old school April stuff getting my announcement video together, but everything was done and I filmed. I have to now edit. That's going to be the chore. So my intention for today is to work on this office because I filmed yesterday. Everything's all over the place. So I have to get it back in shape. I think I need a different system in my office. The way my system is, I have those like dividing shelves, those black trays. Mm-hmm. It's not working for me. So I think I need to have a binder to put my paperwork in, to keep track of stuff. And then I need to get my other little thing I used to have at school. I need to move that in here because it's not doing anything in my scrapbook room. I don't know. I have to figure something out. My system is terrible. I don't have a good setup. That's part of it. I don't like to spend money on stuff until I know what I need. Mm-hmm. And then I also don't know what I need. I wish I could hire a professional organizer.
Oh my gosh, me too.
So Jen, what are you working on for your Power Hour?
Today, I'm kind of considering it sort of a lot of manual labor because my special needs daughter, I'm the only one here with her today because my husband's working. She's still asleep right now. But when she wakes up, she's going to need a lot of my attention. So I'm going to try to clean up like piles of stuff everywhere. Books, projects I started as far as writing, all this kind of stuff piled all over my coffee table, all in my office. So I watched this video called, and I shared it on my YouTube page, Why Do We Hoard Information We'll Never Use? Books, articles, and intellectual FOMO.
I need to get that because I
Yeah.
have pieces and parts and all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, why do I have this?
Yes. The YouTube channel is Lady of the Library, and I believe she pronounced her name Chinzia Du Bois, and she also has a podcast called The Annotated Mind that I want to check out, especially 2 episodes called The Anxiety of the Unwritten, which is you have, like I said, all these ideas, these things you want to write, and then you don't write them. And she has another one called Why Do We Forget the Books We Read? So yeah. My goal is to look at all these projects that I wanted to start and decide, am I really going to do these? If not, do away with this stuff.
Let it go.
Yeah,
Let it
yeah.
go.
Exactly. So organizing piles into stuff I'm actually going to do, and then actually start writing.
Yeah, I know. I hate the piles. I have piles. I have like 3 piles in here. How about you, Lee? What are you going to work on for a power hour?
I'm going to really try to power hour. I'm going to budget my Q2, make a weekly plan, make a meal plan, and a grocery list.
Woo!
Yeah.
I'm just
That
going to try
sounds
to
very
and grab a coffee. That's the only other thing.
Yes, that sounds amazing. Okay, so let's see what else everyone is getting up to. Crystal is going to do a couple of Korean lessons for Power Hour. She has been rocking it.
Yes,
I'm
she
telling
has.
you. And it was supposed to be full week. Sorry. And Stormy says, I am working on eating my breakfast. Well, that's good. If that's how you want to spend your power hour. I know it's early for a lot of people. Jamie says, during this hour, my intention is to create my grocery order, pay some bills, and work on a planner. I love that. And then Jellicle said, I promised to come back to the dollhouse project, but a friend from Australia is visiting soon, and I need to come up with an itinerary. She wants to see and do everything. Well, hey,
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing. I was telling Lee and Jen earlier, I could have worked on my book project yesterday in the evening time, but my husband was home in the evening. Obviously, it's a Friday night, and we wanted to watch Jack Reacher. And I'm like, I have to choose between spending time with my husband and this book project. So there's the timer. I chose to spend time with my husband because, I mean, we don't know how much time we have in life. I know it seems trivial to maybe to some people to spend a couple hours watching television with your significant other, but
it's really not. If your husband wasn't here, who cares about the books? You wanted to
right, exactly. So I just have to, think that's the mindset I'm in anyway. Swain said, during the hour, I'm going to continue the nonfiction book I read last Saturday. Excellent. And good morning, Tina. Going to go over my weekly and annual reading plans. Nice. And Esther Jane said, just wanted to say hi. I did my goal of reading my 2 chapters for a buddy read, and now I'm heading to the library. That sounds good. Okay, so we are officially in Power Hour. I'm going to set our timer and show it to y'all. I have to kind of talk to myself, sorry.
All good.
Oh my goodness. Okay, and I think that was the last comment. So let me see my banner. I don't know why this is. Okay. Oh, I want to put my little power hour up there. Okay. Happy Power Hour, everyone. See y'all back in 59:28.
Okay.
And I don't know if y'all want to mute y'all selves too. I think Jen didn't. Okay. Welcome back. Okay, let me get rid of our kitty cat. Okay, so we are back. I hope y'all did well. Trying to organize this. Okay, so how did y'all do? How'd you do,
I got
Jen?
three piled.
Yay!
It's taking time though, because I'm really sorting through what do I need to trash, and if I need to keep it, why am I keeping it, and where does it need to go, so that I actually do something with it versus it just sits there. So it's a process, but I'm glad I got some stuff done.
Isn't it amazing how much paper and these articles take up so much of your time if they're not in an organized way? Because you just, at least for me, I move things from one pile to another pile and never, but I think part of it is having a good system. Like I have a file cabinet, but I haven't purged that file cabinet in so long. That's what I need to do first. Yeah. So then I can set up the organization of how I want to do that. And yeah, so I think that's great. At least you got through some piles. How about you, Lee? Did you get accomplished what you wanted to accomplish?
Of the 4 things I wanted to accomplish, I got 2 accomplished. And that's because I was supposed to have an auto renewal charge go through. I don't see in any of my accounts where it went through. So I spent an extra amount of time looking for that. I think what the problem is that they took off the auto renewal. So it just didn't renew.
Oh,
so, which is weird. You figure they'd want to get my money, but
yeah.
So
yeah, you would think so. You would think so. Well, that's
so
good.
that
I mean, at least you accomplished something, but that's a good example of how you had something set to do during your time and how something interrupted it.
Yes. And then took way more time than, everything else was just, oh, check. Yes, it happened. Oh, check. And then that was like, oh no, I've got to spend 20 minutes of research on this.
Right, right. Well, do either of y'all find that y'all underestimate how long things take?
Yes. Underestimate certain things, but then make a big deal about, oh my gosh, I'll have to make my bed. That'll take 10 minutes. It takes a minute and a half.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that type.
Yes, I realized, and that's one thing I did realize about time track. And I used to think to myself, oh my gosh, it's going to take me an hour to clean my bathroom, or it takes me 30 minutes to unload and load my dishwasher. And then when I time tracked and realized it really does not take as long as you think. Yeah. And if you pair it with something enjoyable, like an audiobook or a podcast or music,
yep.
Or even if you're talking to someone, if you're talking to a friend on the phone or whatever, it makes it so much less daunting and it doesn't seem like it takes any time at all. So it's just, but I find that I'm like, oh, I'm going to tackle this task and it's only going to take a few minutes. And before I know it, like 45 minutes is gone. And I'm like, okay, well, that's why I couldn't do XYZ today.
Exactly.
So let's see how our friends did in the chat. I know we had some people pop in just to say hi. I'm just going to go through these just really quickly. Alicia was here. Heidi popped in. Courtney popped in. She was actually gearing up for bed. M popped in, and so did Travis. I am up because I had to head to my mom's to spend the night and help her do some decluttering. And he unfortunately had 2 very strong drinks last night, so I am groggy. I see that. Travel sounds like me the day after St. Patty's Day. His goals for today are to get to my mom's and help her as much as I can. I also signed up for a virtual Scooby-Doo 50-mile walk challenge, so I'll be starting that tomorrow. Yay! And that'll be perfect because that'll be going into Old School April. He's a fellow Scooby. Nice. So that'll be good. So we also had Joanne come in and ask how everybody was doing. And then Mitzi popped in from Mitzi Reads and Writes. My day is already off to a great start. Load of bed linens, washing, food in the crock pot, worked on next week in my planner, house vacuumed, and love this new Saturday Live. Well, thank you. We welcome you, and we hope that you will hang with us every Saturday. The whole point is for us to get things accomplished. Even if it's your everyday things, that's okay. I mean, you feel like you're not alone having to do that. And then Stormy ate my breakfast, then decided to work on some book organization while listening to an audiobook. Nice. Yes, paper. Oh my goodness, I do the same and just move from pile to pile. That's pretty much what happens to me. Now, I did get through a pile that was on top of my printer, and I've made piles like you, Jen. Like I have papers that need to be filed. I was throwing away as I was doing that. I'm recording. I'm really bad about writing down books or things on pieces of paper. So I recorded that where it needed to go. I asked my husband to get me some pens and also some page protectors because I do think I have a binder. So that'll be one of my next projects is getting that binder set up. I have a binder already, and I put some of my stuff in there for any booktube or reading related stuff. So I did that as well. But the paper is just, my thing with that is, what if I need this piece of paper one day, especially if it's an important document? What if I need the date on this thing or whatever? And I know when I worked for Father Jamin at St. Margaret Church, he wanted everything scanned into the computer because he didn't like all the paper. So I would scan and shred. But then I'm like, what if your computer breaks and you can't access the information? That is what I'm afraid of with technology. I'll be honest. That's the one reason why I don't like to do digital. Now, of course, anything could happen. You could have a flood or a fire, and then your papers go up in smoke too. But I think my very important papers, I want to get like a metal box, a fire box.
Yeah.
We have a lot
of that in there, something that I can grab and go if ever there's any kind of a situation, but I do think you probably could access a lot of, like, I keep statements for bills that I pay, and I'm like, do I need to keep that every month? I need to rotate them out, like when the new one comes in and then toss it. I don't know. It's so aggravating to know what to do. Did some morning things and revised my reading plan. Excellent. Jen said I didn't do anything to record, but I did straighten up. I put a load of laundry, did the dishes, watered the plants, and made some coffee. Nice. I also was listening to my audiobook while doing all of that. Now, I will say something, Jen. I noticed you said you didn't record, but you straightened up. If you're anything like me, sometimes I can't be creative or I can't take the next step, because everything around me is like putting a barrier. I don't know if that's the right word, but that's what happens for me. It's like I can see it peripherally at the corner of my eye, and then it makes me want to procrastinate, because you can procrastinate by clearing clutter. I think Gretchen calls it procrasticlearing or something like that, to where you're still avoiding but I do think for me, having the clutter does impede me.
Same here.
Yes.
Jamie got her grocery order placed for next week's meals, paid or scheduled bill payments for the next 2 weeks. Nice. Fed the cat, started work on my planner. Very nice.
Very, very, a lot of progress.
Yes, I did also start my to-do list for tomorrow. I got 4 items on it. I was telling Liz, I think I need to go back and do one of the rules in Laura Vandekam's Tranquility by Tuesday, where every Friday she plans out her week. I don't necessarily have to do it on Friday. Maybe I could do it part on Saturday during Power Hour. I'll just have to see. But it doesn't take super long. But I liked it when I was doing it, because you can look at your whole week, map it out, and you add blocks of time that if you can't get to something on one day, you have that block of time, to do it at that point. So I think I may go back to doing that. I don't know why I stopped doing it. I know why, because everything got chaotic. It's like, I don't have time for that. But really and truly, it didn't take super long, because once you get into the rhythm of it and you can block it out and you put like your appointments first, and then this is what I want to accomplish. If I would have scheduled my book stuff, that would have been better. So the one thing I will give myself a gold star is I did walk every day this week except one day.
There you go.
So I'm very excited about that. I'm happy about that. And that really did help. And yesterday I was about to have negative self-talk to myself because I'm like, I just don't have enough time to do this. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Talking about content for my channel. I'm like, this is just, I don't know why I can't get this done or whatever. And finally I said, you know what? Stop. I'm not going to talk negatively to myself. I am going to go for a walk. It was like noon because I'm off on Fridays. It was noon. I didn't bring my phone with me. I didn't listen to anything. I just walked for my 33 minutes or whatever it was. And I felt 100% better.
Mm-hmm.
And I took care of my dogs. I took a shower, and then I was able to film after everything was taken care of. And I did it. Of course, the filming takes me forever, but at
People
least
really
I was in a better
underestimate
mindset. Yeah, I was in a better mindset after doing that.
Yeah.
So Crystal said I got through one lesson. It was a bit challenging one, so I had to use my brain. I'm finding I'm struggling to retain some things from previous lessons, so I had to go back and refresh some info. Well, also, too, you are studying a tough language, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody saw, but she posted her writing
I
and
did.
what
It
it
looks
meant.
so
And I
pretty.
thought that was incredible. It's like, I think the fact that she's doing this, because this is a little bit different because they have characters
Yeah.
Yes.
for their language instead of letters. So that's a little bit more difficult.
It
So
is
I
so
still think you
difficult.
did well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when we went to China to adopt our youngest child, she's adopted from China. And we knew, I mean, just enough to say hello and I love you. But the thing too with Korean, just like with Mandarin, which is what they speak in the region of China where Rena's from, the language is tonal also. So you have the same, grouping of, like sounds, but depending on how you say it, it can mean something different, like where you put your
Mhm.
accent and your tone. So it's very challenging. So Crystal, I applaud you because not only are you learning to speak that, but you are writing the characters. Like Rena had a birth note that her mother had left with her that was written in, character. So our guide translated it for us, and wrote it down for us in English. But it's just, we still have it, in a safe space and all. But I just think that's amazing, Crystal.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. Brainstorm the project I'm planning to create. Great job, Precious. Good morning, Carissa. How are you? I didn't do much. That's okay. You do what you can do. Remember, every day is different.
Mm-hmm.
Jellicle says, I think I'm about halfway through, got most of DC planned and have 2 more places to add. Then need to do the important Virginia sites. Very nice. Very good. I think y'all gonna have fun. I didn't do much, but I did get coffee and I'm going to start laundry. It's okay. That's what
Coffee
you did.
first.
I mean,
Coffee.
gold star for doing something. And yes, I also didn't take my ADHD medication today, so my mind is focused on too many things at once, so the clutter is in the back of my mind. And just to let people know, no, Jen probably wouldn't care, but Jen just started taking ADHD medication. So, and it's been a game changer for her. So I think that's awesome that she's, taking that step to help her, but I can understand that that is a challenge. And English isn't my friend this morning. No. And then, of course, if you're battling autocorrect, M said, oh, yes, I'm definitely one who needs to clear the clutter before doing the creative things.
Mm-hmm.
And so unwanted books. I'm debating whether to start a Pango shop or just take them to Second and Charles like I usually do. Anyone sell on Pango, eBay, and is it worth the trouble? Now, Lee, do you and Jen have a Pango shop?
No.
I don't.
Okay.
I've thought about it, but I just usually end up taking the books I don't want to the thrift store because I don't want to deal with having to post somewhere else and then mail them. But I know I can make some money, but I just don't.
I'm the same way. I end up giving my books away.
Yeah.
I usually either do a book. I mean, I give them away in my November gratitude month, thank you giveaway. Or if I know someone might like the book, I'll DM them and say, hey, I know you read this. Do you want this? But Mitzi, I know a couple of people that do. Travis, who is in our chat right now, he has a Pango shop that's pretty successful. I don't know if you are on my Discord or not, but my Discord is linked down in the description box. If you want to join Discord and then touch base with Travis, he could help you, because I know he helped Alicia at Books and Things with Alicia. So I know quite a few people that do well with their Pango. You know, I just don't know anything about it. I talk about thinking about doing it myself, but it's like finding the time to set it up. And it's probably not that difficult.
Yeah. I also know Elizabeth at Lizzie Faye Loves Books. She has a huge eBay shop that she sells all her books on. So.
Oh, yeah, Mitzi. And you and Elizabeth are really good friends. So, yeah, she could guide you with that. That's awesome. Yeah. Good question. All right, friends, I'm heading out. Have a wonderful day. Bye, Travis. Enjoy your day. Hope you get a lot accomplished with your mom. And hi to Travis and to Precious and Carissa from Libya. And hello, Cat and friends, just waking up and getting breakfast. Allergies this year are kicking my butt. I will go back and watch. Excellent. Thank you, Alicia. And more highs. Yeah, it's hard. I know it's hard to get up. I got to 47% in my book. Good job, Swain. More highs. Livia said, I put away some books, not like I would love, but at least they aren't in piles all around. That's important. That's how I kind of feel. I mean, you can see by the pictures I posted that the YA books are up there, but the reason they're still in just the way they're set up is because I have to move the YA books that are already owned and put them in alphabetical order. I'd like them to be in order. That's just me. I don't know. What do you do when you have books that are by the same author? Do you put them by chronological, or do you do them by alphabetical order by title, or you just put them in there and don't care?
I put mine in there and don't care as much. But I get annoyed because my Stephen King books, like I do want to keep certain ones together, but they're like different heights.
Yeah.
And I want everything to go according to height, but I had to let that go with my Stephen King stuff because I kind of do. They're not in alphabetical order, but I'm like, these are the short stories. These are the ones I used in my thesis. These are the ones like, you know, own writing and Dance Macabre. And, you know, I kind of do it like that. So it makes sense in my brain. And I just had to get over the different heights because it was taking me longer to find what I wanted when I had them, you know, trying to look more aesthetically pleasing. I'm like, I make them practical.
So you don't do by title and you don't do by chronological order. That's good to know. What about you, Lee?
Same authors, only in an order if they're a series. If they're just standalones, I can keep them however. I'm okay with that.
So I might end up doing that with my Mary Higgins Clark then, because like I said, one of the books for Mary Higgins Clark is way bigger than the other books for some reason. I must have gotten that one somewhere else. I don't know why it's like much bigger, but I might do that because then I will be able to fit more books on that shelf, because the books that I moved it from, that shelf, must be longer than the bookshelf I moved it to, because they're not lining up the way they need to. So, okay, well, that's good to know. Maybe if I can let that go, that'll be helpful. That'll be helpful. I don't think it really matters. Nobody's going to know when it was published, correct?
They'll be like, that was 65, not 64.
Right.
What are you doing?
Olivia organized diamond paintings and choose what I will do next. Nice. Now I have to edit a video. You are very productive. Stormy says, I have a Pango shop and I sell, but maybe not as much as I would like. Okay, so Mitzi, you have another friend in the chat. Stormy also does Pango. Yeah, I'm the one that I do better if somebody shows me how to do something than me trying to figure it out. I always feel like sometimes with instructions, they kind of leave something out, or it's not clarified enough, or like I'm just not smart enough. I'm just like,
that's me designing that website right now. It's like, oh, you do it this way. And I'm like, what way? I don't understand.
Well, it was like the other day I made taquitos. Okay, I made chicken, bacon, ranch taquitos. And I don't make them very often because they're time consuming, but it cracked me up because it said 15 minutes prep time, 20 minutes to cook, 35 minutes total. I'm like, I don't know what planet this person is that made this recipe,
Yes.
because it took me 15 minutes to cook the bacon portion of it, because it's not like you can put the all 16 pieces of bacon in, or 12 pieces of bacon in the microwave at the same time. At least I can't in mine. I guess, well,
No.
unless you do it in the oven, but I'm just like, no, I cannot do this. So it takes me forever to do this recipe, because you've got bacon. The turkey was already done because we used leftover turkey. That was already done, and my husband had shredded it and made it into small pieces. But I had the bacon to take care of, and then you had to mix it all and measure it, everything. I'm like, whoever wrote this, I don't know what they must have bought bacon that was already prepackaged, and their chicken was already prepackaged. That's the only way that you can do it.
Those things are never right for me either. It takes me sometimes an hour. Like, I'm putting potato soup in the crock pot when we get off here, and the prep time for that says it's like 15 to 20 minutes. But I'm like, what? You're chopping up all these potatoes. You're chopping up all these onions. You're chopping up carrots. Who is doing this, and how do they not cut off all their fingers?
I was just going to say, they don't count the time that your peels from the potato went everywhere. Now you have to clean up the floor, and they don't include all that stuff in there.
No,
Right,
I cook
exactly.
and bake a lot, but I am very chaotic in the kitchen. Like, I am not one of those calm, so aesthetically pleasing that people would want to watch. They'd only want to watch me to see like total and utter chaos.
Well, I like that Lee and her husband team prep, because she cooks and he cleans. So that, I think, is wonderful. Y'all got it down.
He just left for work, and I heard him doing the dishes before that. I was like, good, because I didn't want to do them today anyway. So
yeah. Alicia says, I sell on Pango and I have sold quite a few books. It isn't too hard to get started. Excellent. And hi to Stormy. I'm a fan of alphabetical. Yeah, I don't think I could do alphabetical with the Mary Higgins Clark, but I do like the idea of like keeping series together, because Mary Higgins Clark and her daughter, Carol Higgins Clark, wrote some books together. So I separated Carol's books with the books that they wrote together, and then I have Mary's books. So I put the authors in alphabetical order, but I think I'm just gonna like not worry about publication date. It doesn't really matter, because it's really, most of her books are standalones, unless her later books are series. I think today hubby and I are going to tackle the house mess together today and have a book discussion. Nice. In chronological order for standalone and then series. So Livia is like me. She's got that personality. Chronological for series. Okay. And thanks to Stormy and Alicia, maybe I'll just put up a few and see what happens. I think so, Mitzi. And then share with us when you get your Pango up and running. You need to share, so that way we can see what you have for sale. It'd be awesome. And that's what I did. Yep. And that's what I did. And Travis gave me some tips. I've sold 10 books so far and getting ready to add more. Wonderful.
That's tempting me, because I can use the money.
Yeah. All of my books are alphabetical by author's last name. And then she was saying 3 p.m. And then by genre, and then by size, unless it's a series. My
Mary Higgins
Clark books have their own shelf, but not in any order. Okay. Yeah. So what I'm doing is I am putting everything together. I'm not going to separate by genre, except for a couple of genres. But the problem is I have, like, I think everything that Mary Higgins Clark published. So I have a lot of Mary Higgins Clark books. I have a soft spot for her. I can't help it. I started reading her when I was 18. And even though some of her books are dated, I don't know.
I've never read one of her books.
Neither.
Well, that is one I did recommend. That's one of my host recs, is her book, Where Are the Children? Which is one, was one back in the day that was really like, ooh. I mean, it's mystery, but it's nowhere near compared to what we would consider like hardcore mystery today. In my opinion. Gotta head out. Thanks so much for Power Hour. Thank you, Crystal, for being here. I appreciate it. Okay, so we have gotten to the bottom of comments for that. I'm envious. I am missing some. Also started in high school with her. She was my intro to mysteries. Well, Jen, if you compile a list of what you're missing, send me your list, because the Friends of the Library that I go to, their store in Covington, they have many Mary Higgins Clark books. I was able to replace some of my paperbacks and get a better copy of books. So if you let me know, and the books, the hardcovers are $2 a piece, regardless of the condition. So I don't think that's bad for a hardcover book.
Not at all.
So my problem is I tend to use my Pango bucks to buy more books instead of transferring to my bank. Well, I mean, at least you're buying books with money that you made from books.
Right.
Yeah, so I take me up on it, Jen. If I can find a book for you, I will. Okay, so let's talk about next week. What are our intentions for the upcoming week? What are you planning to do this week, Jen?
That website.
You got this, Jen. You're going to make it
The
happen.
website. And then I also want to work on an abstract for a proposal for a conference I'd like to be part of. So those are going to be my two big things this week.
Those are big goals. You're going to get it. You're going to get that website up and running. You're going to find the right person.
Yep.
The universe is going to pair you with the right person.
Yes.
And they're going to just see your vision and they're going to be able to make it happen for you. And that's it.
Yeah. I'm rooting for her for this because I want to join her adult course. Oh, what about you, Lee?
I think I'm going to have to think a little bit more on things, but right now I'm going to be choosing the next Bible study course that I'm going to want to get into and then actually sign up and get into it.
Oh, good.
I have other things in play I want to do, but like I'm waiting for my income tax refund to come in. So saying I want to pay my car off, which is only $1,700 left on it, so I'm not doing something big, but I want to pay that off, but I don't like to make a goal if it's relying on something else to happen first, because then I feel like a failure because it's out of my hands. Like if I had to wait on someone else and they didn't come through, that wasn't really on me. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to make it's I would like it to happen, but it's also dependent on when I get the money. So
yeah, I like you saying that. That brings up a very good point. That's something when I look at my 25 for 2025 list, I need to see how many of my aims I have on there are contingent on somebody else or something else happening. Mm-hmm. Because I'm almost wondering, it makes me curious to go back to my previous list to see how many items I didn't get to because I either had to do it with someone else mm-hmm. or I had to have steps done prior to being able to do that.
That's how I felt things always, like I was always let down by myself, but I'm like, but I was relying on somebody else or I was relying on something else to happen that was out of my control. And you can only do what's in your control. So
that's right. That is true. Yeah. So now you got me curious. I'm going to have to go back and look at that list and see, because I mean, some things like me going out and walking, I really have nothing preventing me from doing that but myself. Now, of course, if something comes up and I have to help a family member or whatever the case may be, we have weather circumstances and I lose electricity or whatever. However, that being said, I could walk around my house if I needed to. I've done that before when I was in a walking streak. And I know that sounds weird, but literally I would walk in a little path around my house or whatever. My family, I'm sure, thought I was a goofball, but I really did not care because I'm like, I am determined. I am going to walk 20 minutes every day, because it was for one of Gretchen Rubin's challenges, walk 20 in 20. So, but yeah, that is such a good point. I never thought about that before.
I used to have, and I realized this when I had a friend, and our goal was once a month we would get together and we would go to a new place to eat. And then she would always cancel on me. And then at the end of the year, I was kind of like, man, I didn't go through with this. But I'm like, but I was relying on somebody else and she always canceled. And then I didn't want to be the friend who went to the new place without her. So I just never went. And I'm like, but that was out of my hands. So then I started changing the goals that I make. So
yeah, I like that. Very good point.
It
See,
is.
this is
Because
why we
I'll
need to hang
sometimes
out.
yeah. Like one thing that I'm like, I feel like, and this is the way my brain is, I feel like if I don't get this one thing going, then I can't do anything else on my list.
Right.
And I get like hyper focused on that one thing. And if it depends on somebody else, I'll just sit here and like, you know, task paralysis or whatever, like thinking I can't do something. So I'm really glad you said that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad to help.
Yeah. Well, for my week is I'm going to continue working on my office. I want to try to get my YA books. This is the other thing. I need to get the YA books off of the shelves that are in piles onto that new bookshelf. I need to move Patricia Cornwell and Michael Crichton to their spot in the C section. If I can get that done, that's great. And then I need to work on that pile that's over here. So that I'm just going to continue working on that.
Nice.
We'll see how I do. I mean, I have some editing to do. I have things I'm doing today. I'm going to see a play, and this play that I'm going to see is one of my items on my 25 of 25.
What is it? What is it?
It is the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee.
Oh, fun.
It is a lot of fun.
But it sounds like fun.
It is a lot of fun. I'm not sure if they're going to do audience participation like when I was in the play, because I did this play. I was Mitch Mahoney, and I was the guidance. I was not the guidance counselor. I was the comfort counselor. So anytime one of the kids were kicked out of the spelling bee, I had to comfort. And what they would do is they would get audience members to come on stage, and they would ask them to spell words and stuff. And then I'd have to comfort them and give them a juice box and everything. It was just really funny. But it's such a fun, it's a fun musical. Some of the songs are hilarious. And so when the Columbia decided to put it on, I thought about auditioning, but then I'm like, you know what? I can't. I don't have time. I don't have time.
Sounds like it'll be fun though.
I think it'll be fun. And so I'm going with my friend Helen, and then she and her girlfriend and Barry are going to meet us after the play, and then we're going to go have dinner together. Nice. So that's what we're going to do. Okie doke. So M says, I plan on tackling some short story ideas that have been swirling around in my head. That's nice. And thanks for motivation. Thanks, Swank, for being here. We appreciate it. Mitzi says, I plan to do something with these boxes of books and walk every morning. Yay. I love that. Love that. And Alicia said, I plan on tackling some reading I got behind on, get these allergies under control, and assess where I am in our debt-free journey. I think we're really close. I love that.
That's exciting.
Yeah, a debt-free journey is a long journey. But when you that is one of those things that I don't think you will feel like let down or disappointed when you get at the end.
Yeah.
I know there's been sometimes you're on a journey for a long time, and then when you make whatever it is, you're just like, oh, well, that was anticlimactic. But this, I think a debt-free journey is going to be one where you're going to be like, phew, all my hard work paid off.
Yeah, literally.
Swing says, I'm going to continue working on my to-do list. Excellent. I walk around my house when I need to. I get it, Kat. Yep. Sometimes you can't leave your house, and that's the only way that you can do it. And at the time I walked my house, I didn't have a treadmill. So I was like, and then sometimes I'd go out and walk around my deck in a circle, or, you know, if it was a nice enough day, I'd just walk around my backyard or whatever. So you do what you got to do. Great point, Lee. I need to retrain my brain. And Livia said, cut my hair because I had a flare up with my fibromyalgia, and I didn't last week start and finish the DP diamond painting that I picked today. And then I want to pick up my April TBR, concentrate on some booktube content.
Nice.
Yes. Sounds good. That's a good point, Jen. I'm the same. I get so fixed on the one thing when I need to just get to something that I can do.
Yes.
Yeah, because what happens is you get analysis paralysis.
Yes.
Or, you know, decision fatigue. Well, if I can't do this, well, what else can I do? And do I have the brain width to have this still in my mind while I'm trying to do this thing?
Yes.
Um,
And I think we definitely, we have to be realistic because, like I was saying today, with my being the only one here with my daughter, I can't really try to focus on that website because that takes so much, not only like physical, having to sit down with it, but that's the kind of thing that if I get interrupted during it, if I happened to get on a good streak and I had to stop to do something with her, just everything out of my brain.
All
Same
over,
thing with trying to write an abstract, out of my brain, but
Mhm.
sorting through piles and being able to be attentive like she needs me to be, that I can do. So
Mhm.
staying realistic.
I
Definitely.
think also too, if you set that intention ahead of time, where you have a list, but if somehow you can indicate on your list what are tasks that I can do that don't require as much brain width
Right.
as when I can have quiet time. So that way you're not having to make that decision when these situations come up. So I always think like having a master to-do list
Yes.
and then having a list of what are things that I could tackle quick that does not require a lot of time or effort, or if I do have to care for somebody,
Yeah.
it's not going to take away. I'm still making progress,
Yes.
but just in a different way. And,
Great
I
point.
think also too, our wins don't have to be these huge, humongous wins.
Yes.
Like to me, sometimes if it's just a matter of cleaning one little thing or like clearing a shelf or whatever it is, getting rid of the Post-it notes all over your desk, that might not be huge to somebody else. And they might be like, oh, well, why are you congratulating yourself? Well, first of all, I don't care what you think. But
Right.
secondly, it did make a difference in what I need to do next.
Yeah.
So
Because
I
I
do think
struggle with like this all or nothing mentality.
Yes.
Like I think if I can't get everything done with something, then I haven't been successful. And why am I even going to start? So that's something I've had to retrain my brain with a little, doing this little step at a time. Like you said, taking off Post-it notes. That's an accomplishment. And I don't have to do everything at once. And it's okay. Like yesterday, I gave myself a lot of grace because I could have done more, but I wanted to try that new iced cherry chai at Starbucks. And I live in a very rural place, so my closest Starbucks is 30 minutes away. But I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm going. So I took a book and I went and I had the iced cherry chai, and it's amazing and delicious. And I also had a grilled cheese on sourdough bread because I was hungry. Y'all need that iced cherry chai though. If you hadn't tried that, oh my gosh, now I'm like, I want one every day, but that's not conducive to my budget or, my health goals, but it is so good. And used to, I would have felt really guilty about saying, I'm not doing this work. But while my daughter was at school, I knew I'd be here with her today. I was like, I just need to get out of this house. I've got to get out of this house.
Yeah.
So
Well,
sometimes
you need
do
to,
that
that's
too.
self-care though. That
Yes.
falls under the category of self-care. And I don't think we give ourselves enough self-care
No,
time.
we don't.
And sometimes you just need to have the happiness of that reward to even motivate you to come back and do the things you need to do, big or small.
Yes, I agree. Jellica says, I'm going to finish the itinerary and print it out, then get ready for old school April, print out the A5 forms and plan my reading and watching.
I need to plan my old school April too. And I've always been on Kat's team, so I probably will be on Kat's team again. But Candyman is like my favorite, my iconic guy. So that's not Kat's team. So I may just have to say, I'm sorry, Candyman. Rest in peace, Tony Todd. I'll love you forever.
Well,
but I don't think I can abandon Kat. I love Kelsey too. I love all the hosts, but I'm like, you know what? I gotta stick with Kat.
My kindred spirit.
Yeah,
I like Candyman too. Don't get me wrong. I liked all of the teams. What I decided was Scooby-Doo though is like really my heart. I have been watching Scooby-Doo ever since I was a little kid. Saturday morning cartoons.
I think that was my horror origin story.
Yes.
Scooby-Doo combined with like in Alabama. Some other people may not know this, but it was called 13 Alabama Ghosts and Jeffrey by Catherine Tucker Wyndham. So she had this friend ghost, Jeffrey, but it told all these ghost stories related to different locations in Alabama, like places you can still go visit and stuff. So I used to check that out of my library all the time. But actually, I have a copy of it now. But Scooby Doo, I do love Scooby Doo too. So I can't be upset about being on a team with Scooby Doo.
Yeah, people when I post my video for Old School April, they're going to be like, this woman is crazy, because I don't know how many times I'm like, you could join Team Scoobies. You could. I mean, we are the best team. Look, I recruited last year and we won. I'm just saying.
We did.
I recruited a lot of Silver Snakes. And we were the underdogs last year. Nobody wanted to be on the Silver Snakes, but we prevailed.
We did it.
So
I'm going to be back at it with Kat and Scooby.
I hope we win again. I mean, I can't help myself. Jamie said, my plans for this week include getting some Easter gifts made for my grandkids. Excellent. Nice. She's very crafty. I also want to plan my April reads for Old School April and book clubs. And this is great advice, y'all. Thanks so much. Well, we are happy you're here. And if you can give us some advice, we like it too. Ooh, I really relate to all or nothing mentality. I need to figure out my OSA TBR, or at least some of it. I still need to do that too. And Scooby Doo, where are you? We got
that'll be in my head now.
Team Scooby. Yes, because Stormy's on Team Scooby. Yep. Jamie, Team Scooby. Yeah, we had a lot of Scoobies in the chat on Wednesday. We had one Beetlejuice bunch, and Amy was repping the Ghostbusters. No one was in the chat from Candyman crew.
Oh.
So I need to talk to Kelsey. Like, your team. Y'all don't have the people repping your team. And yes, Em said I had to go with Beetlejuice. Yeah, that's where my two were, like neck and neck. And I'm like, nah, I got to do Scooby. I got to do my Scooby. Okay, well, that is our third episode, or this is our third episode of Saturday Morning Momentum. I'm very, very excited. We've made it through 3 weeks. Still very excited about every week that's coming up. I'm glad that everyone has an intention for the week, and hope that we can get to them within our power to do that. I need to figure out if I can participate in OSA this year, but if I can, I will be Team Scooby. Yes. And Stormy says, have a great day, everyone. Thank you for hosting. Thank y'all for being here. I really, really appreciate y'all. But do y'all have any final words, Jen and Lee, before we hop off? Anything y'all want to say, or anything that people can expect?
Give yourself grace. Accomplish what you can. Be proud of what you did. And if sometimes just getting up out of your bed is what you did, be proud of that too.
Yes. Everybody have a great weekend.
And Precious said, I created a low energy version to my weekly and quarterly schedule, so I don't get overexhausted and theme my days. So that way I focus on that task and project, so it helps me with the perfection in me. Awesome.
Love it.
Thank you for this. Next week I won't be on. I'll be going to the city to meet up with someone at the Strand. Exciting. That's a bookstore, if people don't know, but that's a bookstore, and that is awesome. Okay, everyone. Have a wonderful week ahead. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see y'all next week.
Bye.